quite involving, as you say.
Mm, 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 mm.
Yeah, had some conferences and then was in a conference while I was also attending to office stuff. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, it was sort of
Sounds like one of those weeks.
jumping from conference
Exactly.
to back to office, back to conference.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, in about
How
3
about you?
minutes, we'll be going live. How about me?
Yeah.
Good question. Good question. It's been meetings and training sessions and client conversations. That's what's been.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That sounds fruitful.
It's Wednesday, but I can feel it. Like I can feel it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like you've already paid your dues for the week.
I wish there's more coming, and I'm just powering through because it is what it is, right? We have to do.
Yeah, you just have to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Today I'm excited. I'm excited because we've seen the questions and they are looking fantastic. So we will answer the question from the outside first. We'll see if we have any questions from the members in our Zoom, and then after that, we will go into the other questions that we received before the call today.
Okay, all right.
Yes. I'm so excited. It's 1 minute. Okay. 1 minute. I turn my video on and then we will start. Okay. Hello.
Hey.
Hello. I need to position my camera today. The camera is not doing the best for me. Hello, everyone on PBI. Can you all see me clearly? Okay. It's 7 o'clock. It's one of the most exciting 7 o'clocks I've had this week. I have been waiting for this 7 o'clock because last week, you remember that Kofi did a number for us. I took my notes. My notebook is here. I brought it back. If you didn't bring back your notebooks, so we'll start charging you for this PBI thing. So I brought it back. My notebook is here. I have my questions here. We've received some questions from our listeners last week already, and that's one of the things that we are hoping that Kofi is going to be able to answer for us. I've seen the questions, of course, obviously, and I am excited. For the questions. It was great questions from all of you guys. Before I go further into it, this is the PBI, and we are doing our What is Wrong series with expert persons in different parts of the business operations in the country. So we started from the idea creation and then business development all the way through operations, because once you have your idea, you have to get your operations together. And then we went into corporate governance, and now we are in finance. Once we finish with finance, we're going to go into marketing, and then we're going to go into raising funds. We're going to go into business sustainability, legal issues. We're trying to make sure that we hit all the different points of business that are having issues in Ghana. So today, as usual, I have my amazing guest with me, Kofi Abuaji. Last week, he dropped dimes. I want to pull that... I want to pull it so all of us can hear what happened last week and all the things that I wrote. So the first thing that he said that is noteworthy was that sources of funding exist. That I could have ended it there. We could have just ended it there. Sources of funding is this. So everybody that's saying that there's no money, and I can't find money to start my business, sources of funding exist. And then he says the reasons why most of us cannot have access to sources of funding is the financial practices that we are not implementing. And then he went through a whole list of them. If you want to go to know the list, you have to go and watch it. But he talked about informal business. He talked about poor financial management. He talked about the major objective of business being to grow and not just to aim profit, because you can aim profit now and not be able to grow to sustain that profit. He talked about the fact that we don't have proper pitch decks. He talked about the fact that some of us don't have credit policies or have poor credit policies. And some of us ignore professional financial advice. So, Kofi.
Yeah, talk to me.
Did I capture what you said last week properly?
Yeah, I think you did. Possibly. I mean, maybe you should have taken last week's session. You really summarize it well. At least, I mean, you've just situated some of a few tenets, or the four major tenets of what a good business that operates proper financial management. Okay, once you are able to do this, I'm sure you've gotten almost about 80% of the job done. Yeah.
So if just in case you didn't hear it, I just got an A. I just got an A in financial management. Thank you, Kofi. Thank you. So Kofi has been telling us about his week and some of the things he's been doing during his week. Before I go into this week's questions, I want to remind you again that this is a PBI. And on PBI, what we do is to ensure that we are creating an avenue for the average African to have a mindset improvement or change when necessary, in such a way that they are economically empowered to contribute positively to society. And so we do that through mentorship, we do that through counseling and consulting, and we also do that through creating platforms for people to participate and get to know each other and networking, which is why we have our maiden seminar coming up in August from the 21st to the 24th. It is the Farming for the Future conference. If you have not registered for it, please make sure you run to our website and register for it. You can find the link on our social media pages on Facebook, on Instagram, and in the YouTube. For this video, you will find the link that you register. Registration is free for now. So run and go and register. It is a great conference for both farmers, aquaculture, service providers in the agri industry. We'll be having panelists coming from outside. We'll have panelists from inside. We'll be having funding agencies coming to the pitch session, and then we'll also be able to, there's also a competition where you can pitch your business and win funding for your business. Ooh. And remember, the website is thepbiglobal.com, thepbiglobal.com. Go there and make sure you register. Okay, Kofi. Now that I have done all my advertisement, I want to start off with the questions. Before we start off with the questions, what are your remarks for today? What are your expectations for today? And tell us what you're feeling like today.
Thank you, Eddie. I think that my expectation for today, I mean, I'm happy that we were able to be here today. I mean, God has given it to us. And I mean, as much as we are here, being part of this world, we are here to make impact. And this is one of the platforms that excites me, because I know everybody who is here is in a way one small to create a big impact in a small way to make the world a better place. So it is my expectation that at least we do the right thing so that we are able to achieve our visions. Okay. Everybody set up to do business with a specific purpose. Okay? And we all need help. I mean, they always say that everybody needs a good fellow in their corner in order to push us when the going gets tough. So as business people, it is exciting that PBI seeks to be in our corner to be able to link us with each other to learn and improve our work. So first of all, I expect that, I mean, what we started from last week, people have done their own self reflection to sort of find out where and how to improve on their businesses. And I expect that, I mean, we've been able to, from last week, set the framework for people to know where and what questions to ask to be able to improve. As for this one there, if you have not been able to bring your business to the hospital, you've not been able to assess the kind of sickness that your business is having, so that we proper solution for you, then I don't know, right? So this is one of the platforms that possibly you would have the opportunity to access financial advice free of charge. Okay, this is purely pro bono. So it's one of the ways as businesses, I mean, you take opportunity on and be pragmatic in your thinking, okay, as a business person, and apply early. Sometimes when you proffer a lot of advice to businesses, you know, the commitment to apply it, most businesses is not there. And I hope that all of us that are gathered here, whatever little advice that I could help to, you know, improve your business, okay, no matter how it is important you apply it. Okay, if you don't apply it, you never know it will work or it wouldn't work. So those are my few expectations and my remarks, Ellie.
Thank you very much. I like the part where you said free financial advice. I've told you, PBI, we want to improve your lives, and we are an NGO. So we brought you some free financial advice, but it's not free forever. Take advantage, and those who are listening today, hello everyone. I would like to mention that we are streaming on Facebook and YouTube. So get the link and share it to everybody. This is our Zoom page where we do the intimate session. So if you have any questions, please raise your hand or drop it in the chat box, and I'll give you the opportunity to either ask the question or I'll read your question out aloud. If you are watching on any of our live streams, please drop the questions in the comment section, and the moderator will make sure that I get it, and I'll be able to ask Kofi the questions. All right, so I'll start off with the first question. Is that okay? Okay, so the first one says, how often should I check my bank statements against my check stubs?
That's a good one. I mean, I just want to take it from this way. Bank statement, check stats. Okay, those are, I would say, one of the controls that businesses and especially SMEs we need to have. Okay, and it's a good question, and I like it for the fact that it's coming from one of the things that as small businesses we don't pay attention to. But what does, you know, as reviewing your bank statement and check stat entail to? It's part of bank reconciliation review. Okay, and for small businesses, one of the controls that you can put in place is the payment and receipt controls, which deals with your checks and your cash and checks. Okay, mostly we expect that for owners, you control your own. I mean, in small businesses, because the team is not big and so much are not being done, you control your own check signing and that kind of thing. And for a small business, I mean, what I want us to understand is that bank reconciliation allows businesses to reconcile the bank statement, okay, and the cash book, so that you have a fair idea what you have recorded yourself and what your bank has recorded on your behalf. Okay, so, and one of the things that it helps is that it's able to help us to actually know whether when we open our bank account, whether every money that is in there or the balance that it is reading to us is actually available for us to spend. Whether all those money, it is yours, okay? Because sometimes, most often than not, you may have paid someone who is waiting to go and collect the money later, okay? And if you don't do some of these reviews, you might think that once you see your balance, you go shopping, you know, oh, the balance is 20,000. You've forgotten that as and when you go, you keep issuing out check or to pay for other things, or you keep swiping your card. So it is important that we review it. How often should we do it? Normally, you should do every month. Okay, every month you do a bank reconciliation review every month. Okay, and as I said earlier on, there are checks that when you've given me, you've paid me check. Maybe you come to me, I do some small work for you. You paid me check. I'm yet to deposit the check. I haven't cleared the check yet. But you realize that you have about 10,000. I need to go and take 3,000. Now you have another 10,000 to pay. As soon as you saw the 10,000, you think that you have the money, but not knowing that you have sent me, you have also issued me a 3,000 payment. So in essence, what is available for you to spend is just 7,000. But if you don't do these frequent reviews, so these are some of the things that might escape you. And then there may be, you might also be expecting money from some clients and those things. Sometimes, I mean, as businesses, people might say, oh, I've deposited the money, but unfortunately, they have not. Okay. So if you're a business where you receive frequent payments or receipt, and all your payments are channeled through your bank, sometimes it's good to do, daily checks to see. But for a bank reconciliation, at least for every month, if you cannot do daily, if you cannot do weekly, at least as small businesses, every month, it is important that you do such review.
Okay. Thank you very much. Please, the answer is at least monthly, but preferably weekly and daily. Thank you so much. The next question. Okay, so the next question, it didn't end, but she started with, please, how much should I pay an accountant? My business is small, but I am growing it. When I asked what kind of business it was, she said, I sell homemade cosmetics to others. They brand it and sell it. So she wants to know how.
I don't know whether last week we made mention of this, that for small business, this is how I want to respond to this. Okay. Because most often when you look at small businesses, there's not too much money to spend. Okay. Most of the capital that we have, we want to invest it into the core business. So there's little room to engage other professional services and things. And that is the reason why for startup and small business, network is very key. Okay. To be a business leader as a small business, you should have good personal relationship. You should be able to identify talent. That's a major key. That's one of the things that mostly when you meet small businesses, you don't tend to find out. Ghanaians don't like to network. Small business is like we function in our own small bubble. So we go for meetings, we go for training. We don't ask people what they do. Okay. So for small business, one of the strategies that you can use is through network. See, you should be able to collaborate with other businesses or other small businesses that operate from different industries. So you should be able to identify if let's say the person who asked the question engaged in cosmetic, have you taken the pain to find out what other small businesses who are also into financial service? Because you have similar characteristics and you are growing, okay, those people don't tend to charge much, right? And one other aspect of it is that if you have good relationship with people, see, there are so many professionals who are willing to do certain level of pro bono, okay? And they might be able to assist you to set up the fundamentals so that you yourself can at least do some little record keeping yourself, so that when the professional comes in, there's not too much to do. See, in most often than not, when we go into small business, one of the most difficult things is to, in accounting, you are helping someone to prepare financial statement out of incomplete records. So because it's entailed hard work, it comes with, high bill.
Yeah.
But if you start small business, if you start from the basis, you find someone, can you help me to set up my record books so that I can be able to keep records or keep track of my expenses? Okay. Mostly people are open to proffer these advice. You might also have some mates, okay, from the uni who are studying accounting and those things. You should try and network, collaborate with people so that once you build relationship, you can sometimes be able to ask for free help, free support, free service. Okay, so that you can avoid, you know, engaging or incurring certain costs. So when you grow, and especially imagine that you've been able to partner or collaborate with a small business, the person might be willing to, because he's also, you know, growing. His bills are not big. He can charge you a thousand or something like that, which you can afford out of your business. Okay, so those are some of the things you need to keep in mind. But I won't advise that you go in for, a high-end accountant, right? Or a financial advisor who might come with a higher bill. And sometimes you may also don't want to engage someone who is also in a firm, because it will be the firm that will be billing. Try and engage people who work on their own, like someone who provide personal services and all those things. At least they are able to, cut down some of the costs that they would want to. So please, let's do that. First of all, let's try and engage and improve on our what is it called, relationship, and let's ask for help. And we have people in our church who are accountants. We have people from our school who are studying accounting. Try and get closer and talk to them professionally and ask for their help. Okay, just be professional about it and appreciate little helps. That's also important.
Thank you so much. You've got your, see, PBI, we are doing a mighty work for God. Can I hear amen? Let's pray. The next question says, it's a little bit complicated. Someone asked me what my debt to equity ratio was. I replied that I didn't know. He said it's a very important ratio for investors. When I found out what it meant, I realized I didn't have any debts to calculate the ratio. Should a business have debts?
Okay. Well, this is one of the reasons why we always say that as business, okay, I think last week we mentioned that people do not appreciate or pay attention to when it comes to understanding financial statements and a little bit of accounting. Okay, this is one of the reasons why, because sometimes when we hear some of these things, we panic. Okay, it is not cast in stone. And for small businesses, it's also not even advisable to start, acquiring or bringing in debt into your business. So what is debt? Okay. Debt mostly is an external source of funding, okay, which we owe an obligation to the lender. We acquire it from someone to invest in our business. And we have an obligation to repay either at an interest or fee, but there's a certain level of repayment. Mostly it is short term. Okay, it comes in to support us. So for small businesses, how do we start? Mostly we start with our own money, friends and family, then we go on, and when we are short of cash, we try to go out. So the money we mostly start, which is our own, becomes our equity. So when somebody asks you about your debt to equity ratio, the only thing is that the person is asking you in your business, how much debt is it in your business and how much is equity? Most often than not, when business financier or investors realize that you have a lot of debt in your business, they shy away from it because they know that you might be financially, stressed and all those things. So basically, debt to equity ratio is when you pick my business as a whole, how much of the money have I invested in my business is coming from debt, and how much is coming from my own contribution into the business. Okay. And as I said, for SME, we shouldn't rush in thinking about increasing our debt to equity ratio, because that's why it's debt to equity, because you measure how much. So if the debt is low, then it means that most of the value you've created in your business or the investment you've made is coming from yourself, your skin. What they say, your skin in the game. You have too much of your skin in the game. Okay, so for the importance of debt and equity, I mean, there are quite a number of important why we should engage debt. But for small businesses, when we are studying or when we are starting, we should try and lower our debt to equity ratio. Okay, it's just like when the doctor will tell you, don't take too much sugar in your system. So you should limit your sugar intake.
Thank you very much. We will limit our sugar intake. I have one question from Facebook that says, I run a 5-person business. We distribute fruit juices. We distribute fruit juices. I have realized that Momo charges are building up and affecting my profit. How do I solve this without increasing my prices?
Okay. So the Momo charges, it says the Momo charges. I wish there could be more to this question. Because in a way, is it a case that he's the one sending out? Because see, Momo charges are transactional or financial costs. Okay. So when you pay, the business model of Momo is that when you pay, you they deduct you either an e-levy or what is it called? The transactional fee.
Yeah.
But if you are the one receiving,
yes,
usually you don't pay. But however, I think that one of the ways around it, I mean, mostly the tax people will say these are tax avoidance or those kind. I think that when you run, you manage what is it called? A merchant account, it saves you from the system sees you as a business, so it saves you from some of these charges. Okay, and when people are paying you, they pay less charges than when you are operating your personal Momo. So these are some of the reasons why we say people should have business accounts. Okay. One other avenue is that if you have a bank account, you can give your bank account to people to direct transfer into the bank account, so that these transfer charges that are Momo specific, you can save some of these things. Okay, and that in that case, it's a way for you to also help your customers to avoid certain charges. Because see, if your customer will send you 200 cedis onto your Momo, and the person is going to pay, the person is going to pay 1% on the extra 100 cedis. If you ask the person to transfer the money into your account, and let's say the person also have a bank account, in that case, when it comes to bank account to bank account, you have a daily minimum of 20,000. Okay, so in that case, you save yourself from paying additional transfer charges on Momo. So let's explore some of these things. And there are other remittance or payment solutions that where you instantly collect the money into it and you avoid some of these charges. So possibly the person should explore some of those things.
Thank you so much. See, you even got free Momo advice. Hey, Charlie, at this point, how much should I charge for this PBI session? So I'm going to do a financial forecast for this PBI session because the advice here is too powerful. It's too powerful. So if you're just joining us, we are engaging our wonderful Kofi Abuache. He was with us last week on what is wrong in financial management and funding in Ghana, in Ghanaian businesses in Ghana. And this week, he's also here with us in terms of what is wrong with finance in general. And he's answering all our questions as business people on what we are doing wrong in our business, what we need to do right. If you have any questions, remember, you can drop it in the chat box if you're on our Zoom, or if you're watching on any of our live streams, either YouTube or Facebook, then you can drop it in the comment section and the moderator will send it to us. If you're in the Zoom session, our family people, and you want to ask the question, you can also raise your hand and ask the question directly to Kofi. In the meantime, I would like to remind you again that we are having our maiden seminar where we are promoting agriculture as a business avenue for the youth. And so it is called the Farming for the Future Conference. It's happening in August from the 21st to the 24th to 23rd, 24th, 25th. And it's going to be for all persons in the agricultural business sector, from those providing services to the farmers, to the aquaculture, to the animal husbandry, all of us are coming into one place. We're going to have businesses, financiers, bankers, service providers, loan, what's the name, funders. They're all going to be there. And the climax of it is the gala night, and then also the pitch session where you get the chance to win thousands of dollars to invest in your business. So if you haven't registered for the PBI Farming for the Future conference, go to our website, thepbiglobal.com, and register, or go to any of our social media pages. The link is there for you to register. It's free for now. Okay. All right. I'm going to go into the next questions. So the first one, well, the next set. What are some effective bookkeeping and accounting practices for small businesses?
I think, well, people, this question tells me that people really listen to the last question. So effective bookkeeping and accounting practice for small business. I mean, there are quite a number of effective practice that will help you as a business, in the form of cost control, measuring performance, and those things. So I would like us to look at those other areas in terms of keeping track of your expenses and receipts. So for small business, one of the things I would say it's very important for us to do is to learn how to prepare budget. Okay, and the budget it's more of a control to discipline our spending. Okay, something that will guide us, will prompt us where we want to, and it gives us an idea of the target we set for ourselves. So it's one performance measuring tool and a control tool as well. Okay, so we need to do that as one of the very effective ways, and we also need to keep track of our cash receipts and payments. And mostly, one of the things that will get carried away as small business, because there are a lot of things that we are doing. We are the administrator, we are the HR, we are the purchasing officer, we are this, we are that. Sometimes we tend to engage in a lot of spending without recording, and sometimes when we receive income, we don't record. Okay, this is most of the things that will help. And once we keep records of some of these things, and we keep good track record of our inflows and our expenses, we are able to know what we are spending our monies on and where our monies are coming from. Okay, so that we can improve on that and keep and also grow well. Another aspect is to keep proper books of accounts. Okay, at least you should have a specific book. I mean, sometimes people say accounting and record keeping. Some people see it as a rocket science, but the practice is not really rocket science. You can have a book, one book for your sales, okay, which you are going to use to record all your sales, you date it and everything. One book for your expenses, okay, and you can have another to keep up for your stock and those things. And you can label it the way you want, either sales, either expenses, either stock, so that whenever you engage someone to come and help you, and you show some of these things, the person is able to understand the business, what the business engage in, where you get money, and the kind of where you are also spending your money. Okay. And one thing that I'll keep repeating is also to keep a business bank account. Okay. We need to have a business bank account. I mean, the idea of the days of using your personal account for business, people will not take you serious. You need to start formalizing your business, and bank account is important for you. Okay. And the next thing I will say is you need to institute at least common or basic cash control procedures. Okay, you need to do that. And some of the cash control procedures that you can do is, consistent, regular review of your prices. Some people today, you ask him this, you need to have a consistent, regular review. If you are going to review your prices every month, you should know, because it is not good for you to surprise your customer. Today I call you, I buy. Next day I call you, the price has changed. I won't come. Okay, these are some of the things that we need to do. And another thing is that once we are engaging in credit sales, we need to have different pricing, so that time that you are going to give the item for sale for credit, you should be able to put in place, some margin beyond the one who is giving you cash. If I come to if cash and credit is the same, everybody will credit. Okay, and that in itself doesn't help your cash flow to manage well. Okay, so you need to also have that as a effective bookkeeping and accounting practice. And the next thing that I will also say is that you have to have an appropriate replenishment of your inventory. I use the word appropriate because you cannot keep all your cash in inventory. Every day you buy, the moments you sell, you go. You need to measure how your sale is going so that you keep a proper inventory for it. And as I said, you also need to record and track as and when you are issuing out. Sometimes a small business, especially those of us who are into production, they've bought the stock somewhere. Once they need it, they will send one small, but okay, go and bring this quantity. So they don't actually keep records of it, that who is issuing it out, how much have we issued. So when there is pilfering and when there are losses or missing, we cannot really see it because we don't have proper, documentation on some of these things. And as a matter of fact, also once we are not keeping track record, use and documenting it, we are unable to ascertain for ourselves how much has been used for each production, on how often do we use our inventory. So it's also very important. And please, if you don't have a bank account and you are prepared to have a bank account, at least traditionally, learn from our grandmothers. You need to have a cash till or a money box that keeps your business money. Okay, at least that is a traditional banking in our society, and we should also be able to do that so that you can put money in and lock it. Maybe when you are going, you know that at least today this money went into the box. When you finish, you open, you put it there. Business money is for business. It is not for you and the business. Okay. So that is one other aspect that we can do where you are preparing to have a bank account, but this is a temporary solution. This is a temporary stopgap. Okay. And you need to also have the attitude of sending the money to the bank on regular and early. Because most often when the money is with us, we are tempted to spend the money into some things that are irrelevant. Okay. So if it's daily or if it's the next day or whatever it is, at least you should have a consistency in depositing cash to the bank as well. Okay. And we cannot also stress on this one, and separate your personal fund, business fund. Learn how to pay yourself. If you are a small business and you are operating, draw a salary. If you decide not to draw a salary, then don't pay yourself. And if you say you won't pay yourself too, that is when the temptation comes that, oh, it is my business. Let me go and please put your monthly expenditure. And it should be your needs, not your want. It's not like the month I want to go here, I want to go here. At least be pragmatic and be lenient on the business and pay yourself a salary that you think if you had employed someone, how much would you pay the person? So that when you set that money aside every month and you chop and it is finished, you will know that for any other money you draw from the business, you are chopping the business money. Okay, so that it helps you to separate your own money from the business money. Okay, and as I said, you need to learn how to, if you are a cash, based business, you need to find ways to understand that you should be able to also do daily cash count. Okay, when you finish, you don't say some people they start small business now, or they engage one or two people, they become big bosses. So they upgrade themselves automatically from counting the cash.
Okay. Yes, they are now CEO.
Okay, so those are some of the things that we can practice to improve our bookkeeping and accounting.
Thank you so much. That was so detailed. That was another lecture. Listen, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for all this that you're just pouring out to us. We really, really appreciate you. In line with the question you just answered, there are two things you mentioned in there that would be beneficial for the next two questions, because the next two questions are talking about when times are good and when times are bad. It says, how can I ensure that my business remains financially stable during periods of growth? Like you just mentioned, when money starts coming in, how are we supposed to handle it? And then the next question is, what are some measures I can use to deal with economic downturns that are out of my control to protect my business? So if you can expand the answer you just gave to cover these two, I'll be so grateful.
How to. So I'll take the next question from how you can create a financially stable or sustainable business.
Yes, please.
And one would say, what are some of the characteristics, or what is a financially stable business as a sustainable business? Yes. These are businesses that can demonstrate a sound financial health. Okay. I mean, just look at yourself. You pick yourself that when they say you are, a healthy person.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So someone who does not have high number of diseases, sickness, show a certain level of strength. Okay, so that they demonstrated that, and they must be sustainable. It's not like when you demonstrate sound financial health one day, the next day you are sick. You need to sustain it. Okay, you need to do certain practices to be able to sustain that. Okay? And one of the things that such business should have is what we term a strong balance sheet. Okay? Because businesses are based on your assets and your liabilities. Those forms your balance sheet. Okay? So you need to demonstrate that the business has certain assets, financial assets, fiscal assets to help you to, generate the business, and you also have a certain level of liabilities and equity in it. So. The one of the equity ways of the person who is starting the business owner is able to raise certain funds, either equity by partnering and those things, so that you resource to fund the business need. Okay, so you also need to generate consistent positive cash flow. So your cash flow, the monies that are coming in and that are going out, you need to be able to be consistent with it. And how can you, do a consistent cash flow? It means that you are selling whatever you have clients that you are selling to. So there is certain level of consistent inflows or cash coming into the business. Okay. And you also should have the ability, especially to meet your obligations timely. When you owe or when your creditors come, financially sound business should be able to have money to pay. Because if you don't have money to pay, or you default in paying, you lose the credibility and you will not be able to get another help. Okay. So in order for us to remain financially stable, what are some of the things that you need to, first of all, few things that I would say that, first of all, you need to practice effective cash flow management. Okay, by practicing effective cash flow management, you should know that your cash from sales should be more than your expenses. So your revenue, the business that you are doing, the inflows that are coming, your sales and your income and revenues that you are coming, it should be more than the cost of production. Okay, other expenses, if you have any interest and repayment, and if you have to invest, okay, you should be able to balance this up. So it's not like today when you sell at a loss and those things. You cannot demonstrate you are not a financially viable or stable business. So you should be able to do that. And one, you should be able to create healthy profit margin. How do we create it? Last week we spoke about we should be careful of profiteering. Okay, it doesn't mean that you don't have to make profit, but you need to make healthy profit. Profit that margins that when you put on your cost of sales, it will not create too much discomfort to your customers to continuously patronize you. So when you are, at least when you are costing or pricing your product, you should limit it to the relevant cost. Okay, and in business, you cannot always, recoup all the expenses or the investment that you've made on one sale. So you need to be able to create consistent sales streams and revenue streams. So the margin should be very healthy, very, very a margin that will not be too much far from how much it takes you. And you should be able to reinvest the profit that you are making into the business and reserve some because for a rainy day. Okay. So all that when you are making profit, and especially those of us who are engaged in seasonal business, when it's our peak season and we sell more, that is when we should be able to reserve most of the profit that we are making. You don't pay yourself with the profit and thinking that I've worked and I've gained and I have to enjoy. Yeah, you have to, but at least that is why you are taking salary from your business. Okay, so you need to be able to reinvest because the more you reinvest, that is when you build a better balance sheet, right? And as I mentioned earlier on, you need to also expand your customer base to increase your revenue. One mistake that results in quite a number of research indicators, quite a number of business, collapsing or dying within an early stage is the over reliance on one or few key customers.
Mm-hmm.
They create the business as a what is it called? As a among friends, some society. Okay. And you don't expand. In order for you to increase your revenue and inflow, you need to be able to expand your customer base. Right? So that's also one thing that we should do. Okay. And as I said, debt, when we take debt, it brings financial obligation on us, and debt are mostly short term. So for business, if you don't need it, you don't have to go for it. And one advice, you need to be able to create a sustainable or stable financial business, you need to keep your debt level very low, so that those additional costs that comes with debt, you will be able to avoid that. Okay. And one very key important is that you need to have a long-term financial strategy and planning. Okay, you need to set financial goals, at least for the next year, for the next 2 years. What are your financial goals? What are your financial objectives? How much money do you want the business to create? Okay, how much money do you need in order to scale up? You need to be able to have a certain objective. Then you build your strategy on how you would achieve that. Okay. Very key. Another aspect, effective working capital. Okay. The money that we use to run our business on a day-to-day basis. You need to be able to understand how your business operates. Okay, who are your creditors? Who are your debtors? How soon are your debtors paying you, and how long are you supposed to pay your debt, your creditors? Managing inventory, not keeping too much cash in inventory. Okay, you need to be able to manage that so that you don't press yourself for cash all the time. And you have to also improve your credit and financing. Okay, as long as we improve on our business practice, we build a strong financial backbone that helps us to improve our access to credit. Okay, so sometimes you can even test yourself. Sometimes you can even test yourself. You can approach a bank, find out from them what are the requirements for accessing credit, so that you take the requirement and go and prepare yourself. It's not like you need a loan. You understand the financial system, then you improve. Those are some of the things that you can do to improve. Okay. And then I think the next question was effective financial strategy for dealing with economic crisis, or I think if I got the question right.
Yes.
So for that, I mean, I will just use I think globally we've all encountered one major economic or health crisis that led into an economic crisis, and at least if if anybody doesn't understand or know what it is, at least there's a certain level of experience that we've all, encountered through COVID. Okay.
Yes.
We realize that in terms of crisis, one of business goes into a lot of challenges, and one of the challenges is liquidity and insolvency challenges. Okay, because most of these, a lot of things, a lot of business operations, and a lot of sales and all those things go down. Okay. And early, that's the reason why we keep preaching that for business, at least we should understand our cash flow management, okay, which I've spoken about it. So it helps us to know how money is coming into our business and what we are our money for. Okay, very key.
On that, I want to ask, sorry, let me just come in there because there's a question on this cash flow that you just mentioned. It says, can you explain the difference between cash flow and profit? So once we are at cash flow, if you can chip that answer in, I'll be very grateful.
All right. So I would say those are two things you mentioned: cash flow and profit. They are very two key business measuring metrics. Okay, and for small business, we should be able to understand how the two operate. Okay.
Okay.
For cash flow, usually it provides us with data or information on the actual cash that is coming into our business and that is going out of our business.
In and out.
Yes. So how do we create revenue, or how do we make cash into the business? One of the things is the things we sell.
Yes.
Okay. So the things we sell, I'll use it to explain that this thing hand in hand. The things we sell, sometimes we don't sell everything for cash. Sometimes when we present our sales record, it includes, credit and cash. We put the two together to get our sales record. But in your cash flow, you cannot record the credit because that cash hasn't come into the business, even though you have created sales. So that is the more reason why I said for business, your focus shouldn't be on profit but growth. Okay, because mostly profit is not cash because of the idea of credit sales. And there are certain expenses, that we will record in our profit statement, our P&L statement. That does not necessarily mean that we have paid. Okay, a typical example is when businesses record depreciation. Depreciation is a profit, is an expense, business expense, but not a cash expense. It is something you are saying, whatever you are using the machines or the assets, you are trying to reduce it. And when you do that, and sometimes too, especially we are supposed to pay, let's say, tax, okay, which we have not paid. Okay, because we have not paid, even though we have deducted it as an expense in our profit and loss, the cash is still with us. The cash has not gone out of the business. Okay, so those are the difference. So what happens is that cash flow helps us to manage and measure as a business our liquidity position. So how much money do we have? And what are we spending our cash on? So Ellie, can you imagine a business, okay, who is selling on credit and the cash is not coming, but meanwhile he's buying from his suppliers or her suppliers in cash. So what you are doing to yourself is that you are rather postponing people from paying you whilst you use the little money to pay. So you go and pay cash and you come and sell at credit. So for such business, every time you'll be facing liquidity challenge. So when you meet such a person, oh, I need money. Oh, my people have bought, they haven't paid. They ask you, how about the people you went to buy from?
They haven't paid.
All those people, I have paid them. So those are for profit, it measures the performance, okay, and the profitability of the business. So what it says is that once you deduct your cost of sales, your expenses, either you have some interest, your tax, did you still come up with a certain return? Oh, yes. Oh, then the business has performed. Okay. But we're forgetting that if we don't manage our cash flow well, we will report positive profit and be reporting negative cash flow. Okay, so those are the difference. So that is the reason why we are saying that in times of crisis, or for a business to be able to manage crisis, impacts of crisis, well, that business has to manage their cash flow well. Okay. And secondly, in times of crisis, businesses need to be able to be efficient and also practice good cost reduction. Okay, very, very key point. You need to be able to manage your cost well. And for that, how can you do that? You need to analyze your business expenses. And see, if you don't keep good, proper records and track of your expenses, when crisis comes, you will not be able to know the areas that are not really major business expense. Okay, you may not even know what you are spending your money on. Sometimes, as business, we might think that, oh, we are chasing customers, we are doing this, we are doing this. So we spend a lot of cash on our movement. Okay, so imagine if you rely on, let's say, an Uber or something to move around. Okay, such a business is able to, because the Uber platform can record your expenses, your travel costs, you can put it together. But let's imagine someone who drives their own car and does not even keep record of the fuel they buy. So in a month, you will not be able to know. Okay, so you should be able to. So during crisis, okay, and as business, one of the things we need to immediately do is to review analyze our expenses and be able to identify areas where we can reduce without compromising on quality. So if you have to, so for instance, if you have to be attending to your customers, visiting them physically, okay, then that is the time you need to review that. And if you can still sell without going face to face or attending to them, then maybe you may keep in touch through the telephone. Okay, which will limit you moving out and all those things. Okay. And I would also go back to the point where I said you need to diversify your revenue stream. Okay, that is this where you don't have to, in times of crisis, you need to find new customers. Okay, when you are still keeping and attending to your existing customers, you need to find ways where, and even sometimes, okay, what we don't realize is that as business we are providing solutions, okay, and we are helping customers to relieve their pain. So can you imagine that when we sell and we go, we don't engage our customers to know how they are spending pattern, how their lifestyle and everything. So you sell clothes. So you sell the clothes and you go. You don't bother to ask your customers, oh, this clothes, where did you intend to attend it to? Is it for church? Is it for wedding? I mean, what are you going to match it with? What kind of colors do you like? The more you engage customers, you tend to know other needs of the customers so that you can increase your revenue. So once you sell the clothes or once you sell it, you might realize that, oh, this customer will need a watch. This customer will need a shoe. So the next time, these are their immediate needs. So you can quickly increase your revenue streams. Okay. And one other aspect of it is very important. You need to improve and learn negotiation skill, because this is the time that you should be able to negotiate with suppliers at a very competitive and affordable price. And that is why initially I also said that for cost control, as businesses, we need to be able to compare prices. It's not a case that, once you are building relationships to be able to negotiate better for favorable and competitive prices with your customers, you should be able to know that you try to identify or compare prices from other places. Maybe you might find the same quality at a lower price somewhere. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
You also have to focus on, ensuring that your current customers, you build a certain level of loyalty from them. And very important, I'll just leave it. Technology has come to stay. We need to use technology to improve our efficiency, because we have so much technology. When we use, it reduces our operational costs. And lastly, seek for professional advice in times of crisis. Okay, times of crisis, sometimes you may have a debt that a professional will help you to raise it, talk to your bankers so that certain costs can be reviewed for you and those kind of things. So these are some of the things you can do to manage your finances during crisis.
Okay. I have one last question, because there were some other questions in here, but during your answer of the last two questions, you've been able to touch on all these points, especially talking about when you mentioned depreciation, when you're talking about the financial statements, when you talked about budgeting for the future. You've spoken about all these ones, but there's one that I believe is essential for all small businesses. Is that, are there any important tax considerations for small business owners?
I think this will be this will be one of this will be my favorite question. that's one area small business try to avoid it. Okay, but I would say that it is not good to avoid it. It is good to manage it.
Okay.
It is good to manage, because being a tax compliance business opens opportunity for you. There are certain businesses who will come up, you want to go for it, and they will ask you, bring a tax compliance certificate.
Yes.
Okay. And there are so many avenues that, especially in times of crisis, government will be willing to give back to businesses, small business. And what they ask is that, as part of requirement, we need a tax compliance, and we find ourselves wanting. So yes, there are quite relevant considerations for small businesses in terms of tax that we should understand. Okay, mostly tax is our obligation to the government for engaging in an economic activity. Once you are making money in a country that is your business is profit focused, then you need to pay tax to the government. And before you can pay tax, you need to regulate. Okay, and as businesses, we need to have a certain level of understanding of these tax environments. Okay, one of the consideration is that we need to be aware of our income liable of tax. Okay, whatever business that we are doing, whatever income that we are receiving, is it liable to tax?
Okay.
If you are engaged in an NGO, you are not a profit making, so the government have a reprieve for you. Okay. The second thing is that one of the common businesses taxes, the type of taxes that are available in the country that we operate, in Ghana, we need to be mindful of. There are corporate tax. Okay. There are levies. We have withhold tax that as business that we have to do. For instance, VAT, because we need to withhold that. If we qualify, we have to register so that we collect that for the government. There's property tax if we are operating from a property that is owned by the business. Okay, these are some of the things. And we need to also be mindful of what is our annual tax rate. Okay, annual tax rate, sometimes as the saying goes, everybody thinks that tax rate in Ghana is 25%. But you see, one of the things that you don't know is that your tax rate depends on your location of operation, okay, the industry that you operate in, and the nature of business. Okay, so if I'm in agribusiness, I may not have to pay the same tax as someone who is in manufacturing business. Okay, if I am into social enterprise business, the same thing doesn't apply. If I operate from Nsawam and you operate from Accra, we are not supposed to pay the same tax rate. Okay, so these are some of the things that you need to understand. And there are one good thing is that there are so many tax incentives in the tax law that because we don't understand, we don't know. So one of the things is, when you engage in certain business, you have temporary concession.
Okay.
Either for 5 to 10 years, you are not to pay tax. Okay, the only thing is that you file, the government is not. And even there are certain businesses, even after the tax concession, the next 5 years, you might be paying just 1%. Okay, so there are these taxing, and when we engage, okay, when we are employing and we employ a graduate, we can then go a first-time graduate who has not worked. If we find someone who is smart and we engage, we can use the same thing to go to the government and deduct that as an incentive for engaging a graduate. Ghana is there, okay. And there are something that in tax we call capital allowance. It is the equation of what is it called? Depreciation in accounting. In tax, they call it capital allowance. The understanding is that when you buy certain assets, you are for the business registered in the business name. So that is why some people, if you drive your car, you don't, and you are a small business, you don't have to keep the car in your personal name. Transfer the car to the business, and the car becomes the company's assets. Okay. And when you are preparing your tax, there are certain allowance that the law allows you to deduct from your profit for certain number of years. Okay. For using the car as a business, for using the car to do your business operation. Okay. So that is one of it. And there are also allowable expenses and unallowable expenses. There are certain expenses, the way you describe the expense, the taxman will not allow you to deduct it from the business. Okay. So they will reduce it. So your phone is not registered, your car is not registered in the company's name. You buy fuel, you do all these expenses for the car, and you say you are going to deduct from the business. On the taxman can, who owns the car? Is the car? Those kind of things. So you need to, and there are also moments where we can carry our business losses. So maybe in the initial stage of the business, you are making losses. Okay, when all the losses that you require, the tax man allows you, when you start making profit, to carry over those losses and deduct it. Okay, so that it limits your tax liability. And one other aspect, you need to be able to understand what tax planning is, so that you can plan your tax well, how much you have to pay and how much you don't have to pay and how much you can reduce. Okay, and in terms of the tax administration, okay, early, there are punishments. Recently, we've heard the tax GRA going around closing shops and all those things, taking people to court for penalties and all those things. Okay, as much as we think that tax is punitive and it causes financial stress on us, the alternative is not good either. Okay, when you are caught for not being tax compliant, you pay more. As a matter of fact, sometimes you never know your business. Well, the days that you have to go and visit clients, you have to be chasing all these things. So we have to also be aware of those things, and we need to understand when to file our taxes and when to pay taxes and at what payment, at what times we have to. And a lot of us, there are certain taxes that we don't, based on our annual sales, we don't even qualify to register. Okay, so these are a number of considerations that as small businesses we need to understand.
Thank you so much. It's already 8 o'clock. We started at 5 minutes to 8. To 7, and it's already 8:05. I can't imagine that 1 hour and 10 minutes has passed. Right? 1 hour and 5 minutes has passed. And to be honest, we had a whole bunch of questions here. And in some of the questions, he just gave oversight on some of the other questions. And the last one, which is the one that I knew that all of us would want to know as small business owners, is about these taxes. Because some of us, they are killing us with the taxes. So if you know you've enjoyed this session, I'm just saying, I'm just reminding you that you should join the PBI family. Go to our PBI page, thepbiglobal.com. It's in our comment section here. It's in the chat on Zoom. It's in the comment section on what's the name? On all our social media platforms. Go to the page. Join the PBI family because we have goodies for you. Like this weekend, the She Summit that is coming, we have free tickets for PBI members. So if you know you want to attend the She Summit this weekend that's happening at the Accra Digital Center from 9 a.m., organized by Glitz Africa, just send us a DM, come to our website, and let us know that you're interested in attending, and PBI will give you all the goodies. This is just the beginning. Like I said, we have our premier seminar coming up in August from the 21st that is going to cover agricultural business development. The people we are bringing, the people that are coming to talk to you, the connections that will be there. Remember, Kofi said in the beginning that small business owners make connections, because what one business needs, another one supplies. And if we are small business, let's just come together. Let's just come together. I see Jayaba. Okay, Jayaba Jacob, please. Thank you for the interest that you have showed in it. Please send us a DM on any of our social media and we'll be able to respond to you. Also, admin, if you could put in the phone number that they can call to get the tickets for the Glitz Africa Summit this Saturday, at 9 a.m. So remember, I was talking about the Farming for the Future conference that is happening in August. Register now. It is free. It is free for now. We are giving free things for now. I just gave you top-notch financial advice, including tax advice. Normally, you don't get these two together. The tax consultant is separate. The financial consultant is separate. The accounting guy is separate. You understand? Chartered accountant is separate. But we brought you a 3-in-1. God. PBI, you're good. The good you do. I'm sorry. I'm just so excited because of all the amazing nuggets that I've heard. Why? Because I'm a business owner myself. And some of the things here, I've loved it. And so just to remind everyone, for tickets, you can call 0244 754 0244 to get the free tickets to the She Summit coming on this Saturday at 9 a.m. organized by Glitz Africa at the Accra Digital Center. Okay, so Kofi, I'm coming back to you. We are about to round up. Of all the questions that were asked, I know you had some favorites, the ones that had to do with the cash flow, the bookkeeping, the kind of books that people should keep as an accountant, that people should keep as business owners, and then the one that had to do with taxes. Of all the questions that you answered, what would be the summary that you would give us today in this final session, this second session of your time with PBI that we can take home with us?
Okay, Ellie. So in summary, I mean for the past I think if we've not been able to take anything away from at least this 3 key points, we need to as businesses, one, good record keeping in order for us to keep track of our expenses. For to control and keep ourselves in measure, we need to have a budget. Very important. Okay. So that you know what is coming into the business and what is not going. I mean, some of these things, especially budget, can serve once you keep record whatever is coming in. You can still use it to one way or the other as your cash flow. Okay, helps you to learn how to, understand what the cash flow whole aspect of it is. Okay. And the last thing that I would say, is the question that was asked about how to build sustainable business. Okay, we need to put in place a financial strategy. Okay, at least there's a Google is there. So one other aspect, one thing that I see now about businesses is that most business owners have smartphones. Okay.
Yes.
But there are so basic things that we can learn on the internet to help us, but we don't. Okay. at least learn how to put in place a small financial strategy. Know how you are going to make and the avenues that you intend to raise money for your business. Don't wait till when you are in need of cash before you go running looking for cash. And as I said, of a good small business leader is creating good relationship and network. Because you never know when you need help. You have to build good social capital. Good social capital. And social capital is built out of network and relationship. Treat people, okay? You need to treat people as people. Don't treat people as product and object. Don't sell to people and go and sleep. When you sell to people, know that you are creating relationship. Learn to call them back. Find out from them how, the product is. How can you improve on it? If there are any other needs, and document these things. And it is out of these things that you can create other revenue streams, because based on customer needs, when you begin to solve customer needs, you come up with either a service or a product. So you realize that one customer may have kids. You say you sold for elderly people. How about their kids? Okay, it is when you build relationship that people open up about their life and their challenges. And as business, we have to create and find solutions for those things. Okay. And last of all, seek for financial help. When one thing that I would say is that when we are sick, where do we go? Okay. So when we are sick and there's only one place that we have to go, seek the doctor's assistance. So when your business is sick, why do you keep it at home? We should desist from some of these things so that we can save our business from dying. Okay.
Okay. If your business is sick, why do you keep it at home? Kofi, as usual, let me mention the food. Kofi Nana Boache. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm grateful. If all the 12 people on the Zoom and then the number of people that we have on our social media that is watching right now, because this is being live streamed, are not grateful. I am grateful on PBI's behalf, because the things I have learned in this 2 weeks of listening to you, I can just imagine what next week's roundup session is going to be like. If you haven't been watching for the past week and then you just joined us late, we've been talking to a financial expert, and he's been taking us through all the facets of business that small to medium scale businesses and even established corporate businesses are missing out on, need to improve on, and need to know about. We've had questions ranging from the kind of bookkeeping to use, to the amount of money to spend on financial consultants, all the way to taxes. And one of the revelations we got today was that in Ghana, if you employ a graduate, a first-time graduate, there are certain tax benefits you can get for doing that as a business. Did you know? I did not know. So therefore, stay in tune with PBI, and remember, visit our website, thepbiglobal.com. THEPBIGLOBAL.com. Why? Because all the goodies are there. Free tickets to our collaboration with Glitz Africa for this weekend's She Summit that is happening at the Accra Digital Center from 9 a.m. featuring a powerful session of speakers. And then our maiden seminar that is happening in Accra, Ghana from the 21st of August. We have visitors coming in from Lesotho. We have visitors coming in from Uganda. We have people coming in from Kenya. It's going to be a beautiful session where you're going to be learning different farming techniques from across Africa and how young people are turning farming, all aspects of farming, into the new wave of entrepreneurial rise in Africa. So this has been the PBI session. It's been Ellie now, and in the background, I've had my solid team, Bismarck and Kofi, running the show in the background. And until next week, same time, 7 o'clock, make sure that you keep improving your business, because that is how we will improve Africa. And when you get the chance, mentor somebody, because that is how you will change the society. From PBI to all of you, have an amazing evening. Kofi, thank you so much. I'll see you next week. Bye. Okay. PBI, everybody's gone. It's just us. Thank you. Today was a very good session. I loved the way Yajaba Jacob is back. Please, did you record their what's the name? Their name. They wanted a free ticket. Yajaba Jacob. Hi, Jacob. You're welcome back. So is this your full name is Yajaba Jacob, yes? Hello, Jacob. You're welcome back. It's just you and I now. So your full name is Yajaba Jacob, right? I want to add your name to the invited guest list so you can just show up and your secretary will be waiting for you at the door. Jacob?
Yeah, my full name is Yajaba Jacob.
Okay, can I have your phone number, please?
059
059
41
41
29614.
29614. 059 41 29614.
41 29614. My network was having problem. That's why I went out and then came back. Sorry for
It's no problem. We have ended the show because time was up, but I've taken your details now. You can show up at the Accra Digital Center 9 a.m. on Saturday, and your name will be on the guest list. So just ask them for the guest list.
I'm grateful. We just want to be mentored by you guys, and then us upcoming this what is it? It has been amazing joining you just some few weeks ago. And can see that if things continue like that, we are going to be financially freedom from all this. So we are grateful. Keep up pushing, and
Thank you.